Hi, I'm Natalie Bouchard, and you're listening to Inside NC Labor, a podcast designed to inform and educate North Carolina citizens on the role that the Department of Labor plays in state government. Hi everyone, welcome to Inside NC Labor. I'm Natalie Bouchard, Public Information Officer, and I'm here with Jennifer Haywood.
Hi everyone.
And today we have Joey Hazelrigg with us. He was newly promoted as the Deputy Bureau Chief of the Elevator and Amusement Device Bureau for the North Carolina Department of Labor. So, Joey, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Natalie.
Yeah, and congratulations on your recent promotion. Before we get to talking about that, tell us a little bit about your background before you started working at the Department of Labor.
I have 7 years in the private industry, in the elevator industry. I've done a little bit of everything. I've done a little new installation, putting in new elevators and new construction. I've done some modernization, which involves taking out old elevators or guts of elevators and putting in new stuff and bringing stuff up to date. Mainly, I worked out of the service department, servicing elevators, doing repairs, responding to calls, and troubleshooting elevators, this and that. So I've done a little bit of everything. It's kind of interesting. A lot of elevator guys you find are, it's a close-knit community, and everyone knows everyone, even across companies. I got started, I guess you can kind of say it runs in my blood. I'm third generation. My uncle, he currently works on elevators for Schindler Elevator, and my grandfather spent close to 40 years working on elevators himself. I got started after I got out of school. I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and I knew it was a good trade to get into. I got an opportunity to get hired with an elevator company and tried it out and liked it. So once you get into it, it kind of becomes part of you, and who you are kind of becomes part of your fabric. And yeah, that's kind of my background before I came to work for the state.
It really does run in the family. And you sort of already answered my next question, which is, how did you get interested in elevator and escalator inspections? And you sort of answered that. Do you think, had you not had that family history, that this would have still been something that appealed to you?
You know, yes. I think it would be something that would have appealed to me if I did not have the background. You know, if I did not have that background, it might not have been something I would have known about or would have came in contact with, I guess. Elevators it's an interesting industry, and people kind of, I guess, take it for granted when they get on an elevator or an escalator. They, get on it, use it, ride it, get off of it, and you don't think about all the background workings of it and what it takes to keep those elevators running or put them in. And it's funny, I'm a third generation elevator guy. We had an inspector start with us. This was his first day, and we did a little orientation with him. His son is fifth generation elevator guy right now. It really is a close-knit community, and it's a good trade. You can make a good living doing it. It's something that, if you get in it and you enjoy it, it really becomes part of who you are.
I love how you said that. It's part of your fabric, part of your story,
Yeah.
I love that. Well, tell us about your new role as Deputy Bureau Chief and some of the responsibilities that you now have with this position.
Deputy Bureau Chief, I stepped into this role a couple months ago. It's been a total change from anything I've ever done before. This is the first managerial role I've ever taken on, and so that right there has been a bit of a learning curve. It's been a fun and exciting challenge, and I'm learning something every single day. It's real fun. It's nice to be able to be in a leadership position, and I guess you're kind of coaching a team almost. And I kind of look at it like I'm another resource out there for the inspectors out in the field, that they can call upon me and use me for advice or or if they need help with something, or anything like that. But so far as my role, I'm basically running day-to-day operations for the Elevator and Amusement Device Bureau, and I supervise the supervisors. We have 5 areas throughout the state of North Carolina, and each area has its own supervisor. Each area has anywhere from right now in between 6 to 9 inspectors. Right now, I think we have about 30 inspectors across the state, and we have quite a few openings. We have hired some people that are getting ready to come on board, and we're excited about that.
Well, you did take quite a step up into this new position, and I'm glad to hear you say that it's exciting and that it's fun. And sometimes people don't know exactly what to expect when they go from sort of being an inspector to being truly at a pretty high leadership position. You have a great teammate there in Tommy. I know you probably enjoy him, and I know he's glad to have you, but in just your couple months on the job, is it what you thought it would be?
It would have been hard to prepare me for this position, and I guess maybe it is a little bit what I thought it was, but I really didn't know what to expect, I guess. Thankfully, we do have Tommy Petty. He is a great resource, and he just has a wealth of knowledge about elevators and amusement devices and how the inner workings of state government works. I hope he hangs around for a long time, because he really is, he's a great bureau chief. And yeah, so far as taking this position, this is my first position in an office, so far as going to an office every day and, sitting behind a computer and kind of running things from there. I've been fortunate so far. I've been able to get back out in the field, because I do enjoy getting out there and working with my hands and getting kind of dirty, I guess you could say. So I do still have that opportunity to do that. And as we've had some carnival rides out there coming through town, I've been able to get out there even more to kind of supervise things going on and inspecting a little bit myself. The job, it's been busy, which has been great. So it's kind of flown by the last couple of months. It's been really fun.
I'll tell Tommy that he owes you $10 for saying all that.
Thank you.
Well, it sounds like you're enjoying it and having some new experiences. What's your favorite part of this job?
I would say, I guess, just being in that leadership position. And sometimes it's good, sometimes it can be challenging. But being in that leadership position and being there for your men, and I'm just another teammate along there with them, and we all have the same goal, and that's to have a safe elevators and escalators and amusement devices for the public here in North Carolina. We all have that same goal, just helping the guys along and making sure that that's what we have every day here in North Carolina.
That's a great mindset, just the whole team. You're just a member of the team. I think that's the best sort of leadership perspective someone can have. Well, shifting gears a little bit, you came from the elevator industry, and I imagine that most of your inspectors also came from the elevator industry, but when you get here working for the Department of Labor, all of a sudden you're responsible for amusement devices and other things like that too. Did you have any sort of experience with amusement devices, and are the inspections between elevators and amusement devices at all similar?
I would say my experience with amusement devices before I came to work for Department of Labor was riding them. I did not have anything to do with the erection or construction of devices or inspecting beforehand. And that's pretty much every inspector that comes to work for the state. We hire all of our inspectors are out of the elevator field. When we hire a new inspector, they go through a 2-year apprenticeship program to become an amusement ride inspector. And so through that whole time, you're basically helping out when we do inspections on fair rides, and you're shadowing other inspectors and just looking at how we do things, looking at the different rides, looking at what it takes to inspect them, the paperwork that we have to get beforehand, kind of going through all those steps. So far as inspecting rides, they share a lot of similar components to elevators. So that's kind of where we draw on our elevator experience. looking at a lot of rides have steel cables, which are similar to a lot of elevators. A lot of rides use hydraulics, and most elevators in the state of North Carolina are actually hydraulic elevators. Of course, you have the electrical component of it, and that's a big part of the inspection on rides. And that's something we draw from in the elevator field. A good way to describe an elevator guy is a jack of all trades, because you have to be able to learn electrical and mechanical, hydraulic, fabricating metal. You have to be able to learn all these different skills in order to become a proficient elevator mechanic or technician. And that's the same thing with amusement rides. Amusement rides use all these different components to operate, and all that stuff has to be inspected and checked out before an amusement device goes into operation. So there's a lot to it with amusement rides that we look at. I mean, we pretty much look at every nut and bolt, so far as to even checking the torque setting on how tight some of the bolts are. It's really in-depth and detail-oriented, because we want to make sure that every amusement device that operates in the state of North Carolina is safe.
Yeah, and fair season is coming right up, and I'm sure the fairs will be really popular this year, especially because of COVID, not having any fairs last year. So I'm sure North Carolinians are excited about that. So are you excited about fair season? I think you might be, because you mentioned that you do like to ride the rides. And then how will your role be different this year as deputy chief?
So yeah, we're excited to have fairs back in North Carolina, and I love the rides. I probably love all the funnel cakes and food that you can get out there too, even more. But yeah, we're very excited to have the fairs. So far as my role this year as deputy chief, it will probably not be that much different from in the past, because I'm going to be out there with the guys inspecting right there along with them. It's going to be business as usual. When those fair rides get on the lot, we're going to be on them like white on rice, and we're going to be looking at them from the moment they get out there, and as they are being put up, check twice before they are turned over for the public. So that's really not going to be too much different this year. I'm going to be inspect them just like everyone else.
Y'all are always busy.
Sure. Yeah, fair season usually corresponds with some long hours, some late nights. Fortunately, elevators are inside, so the weather doesn't affect them too much. But fair rides are not, and whether it's rain or shine, we're out there inspecting. So it's a different challenge so far as that goes, but we do what it takes to get the job done at the end of the day.
Well, and on behalf of all North Carolinians, we thank you for that, because we do feel confident in the safety of all of the rides in this state. We here over in the Labor Building are looking forward to the fair, probably in a different way than how you are.
Probably so, and I hope you guys enjoy it.
Well, we're excited to have our new commissioner, Commissioner Dobson, visit all the fairs this year. It'll be his first time out there. But I was going to ask you a serious question at the end, but I think I'm going to ask you a silly question instead. What fair food are you most looking forward to? You said funnel cake, but you've got to pick something else besides that.
You know, a favorite of mine that I've had here recently, they've been coming a couple years to the state fair, so I hope they come back. But it's poutine. I don't know if you're familiar with that or not.
Yes.
But if anyone is not familiar with poutine, basically a Canadian delicacy, if you could call it that. Mm-hmm. But it fits right in with our southern cuisine. It's French fries and cheese curds and gravy. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. And if I remember correctly, I think they'll even put jalapenos on there for you, which I like. So, yeah, that's one I like. Turkey legs are always good too. I like turkey legs.
Yeah, eat a big old basket of poutine and a turkey leg, and then get on one of those crazy fair rides and see what happens.
Yeah. If you want to go that route, I would not suggest that, but that's up to you. But it's part of the fun of going to the fair.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to echo Jennifer's sentiment and say thanks for all that you do, and I will add on a personal note that before I worked at the Department of Labor and realized that all the rides are state inspected, I never rode a ride at the fair. But I actually went down to Carolina Beach this past weekend and rode on one of those rides, and I wasn't scared at all.
Well, good. I'm glad we could put your mind at ease.
Totally.
And absolutely, for anyone out there listening, we do not turn over any ride that we would not put our family on ourselves. So, yeah, we really do take this job seriously. It's a serious job, so we do our best to make sure every ride out there is safe as can be. As you go out there on the midways, stay vigilant and keep your eyes open. The biggest accidents that we see on midways are trips, slips, and falls. So a lot of these accidents are avoidable. If you see something that does not look right to you, say something. Let us know. We have a great resource here with the Department of Labor, and call our phone number. It's 919-707-7927. That's our main line for the Elevator and Amusement Device Bureau. Please give us a call if you see something that does not look right, and we will check it out and make sure everything's up to snuff.
That's a wonderful way of wrapping up our conversation today. You have shared with us some really, really good, interesting information, and we appreciate it so much. And we're just really glad to have you in this new position.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Thanks so much for tuning in, y'all. Remember, your safety is our priority.